Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Prayagraj, and in fact, we just showed the visuals to you a while back. Prime Minister Narendra Modi took a holy dip at the Sangam, and there, in fact, Prime Minister Narendra Modi taking a holy dip at Sangam. All right, let's quickly go across to my colleague Brijesh, who joins us live from the newsroom. Brijesh, take us through the latest.
Well, this was Prime Minister's plan for a while now, that he was supposed to come and take a holy dip at Sangam on 5th of February, which also coincides and happens to be the day when Delhi goes to poll. There are two bypolls which are taking place, one in Uttar Pradesh, one in Tamil Nadu. The most important one, which is there in Ayodhya in Uttar Pradesh, and a lot is at stake as far as that assembly constituency is concerned. For the Bharatiya Janata Party, the BJP would want to win that seat at all costs. What we've seen is that how Prime Minister landed in Prayagraj at around 10:30, 10:45, and then from there he was taken on a special chopper to the venue, from where there, he along with Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath sat in a jetty where the Prime Minister, waved to the crowd, acknowledged the presence and the greetings which were extended by the crowd, and after that, he went on and took holy dip at the Sangam nose area. This is the BJP is saying that this is Prime Minister's another spiritual sojourn. Political analyst, as Mr. Ajit Jha was talking about, that how Prime Minister is a master of symbolism, how he creates and sends messages when he does something like that. The fact is that yes, it is part spiritual, part electoral, depends on which side of the fence you are. If you are a BJP supporter, you will only view it as a complete and absolute spiritual journey, sojourn of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. If you are an opposition party, you would see this as an attempt to influence voting which is going on in Milkipur, Ayodhya, in Tamil Nadu, in the state of Delhi. So whatever is your take pick, was one thing which I completely agree with what Ajit was saying, is that nobody stops the opposition leaders also to exploit situations like these. I think, and the Prime Minister being there would definitely be a boost for the Uttar Pradesh, also for the kind of image makeover which the UP government is going in after the unfortunate stampedes which took place on 29th of January. Neha?
Right, Brijesh, Ajit also mentioned that this Prime Minister's Kumbh visit has nothing to do with the Delhi elections. As you know, all of it is pre-planned, of course. But the question here is, even let's say it's not meant to influence voters, the question still stands. Could such a high-profile religious visit still impact public perception?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, to say that this will not impact it, or I'll say that, that was completely unintended, would be, off the mark for sure. When the Prime Minister takes a holy dip right now, and the visuals are beamed across the country by electronic TV channels, social media, YouTubes and all, I mean, it does have an impact. It could see a consolidation of the BJP voters. It could make sure that, that people who are in double minds, a Hindu voter or an upper caste voter who's in double mind, would see, PM taking a holy dip. Could be, I mean, there are various factors which are at play right now. When the Prime Minister takes a holy dip, it sends a very powerful message to its electorate, to its community, and also to the fact that, that as I said, that the Prime Minister is master of symbolism. This is one very powerful symbolism which is being played out from the ghats of Sangam in Prayagraj. Neha?
And also, Brijesh, do help us understand, does this somewhere reinforce the BJP's Hindutva-driven messaging, especially among its core voter base?
It does, because this shows that as Ajit was also trying to point out, that the Prime Minister is never afraid to wear his religion on his sleeve. We saw the entire spectacle which was there at the consecration of Ram Temple in the start of 2024 last year, and there was the Prime Minister there, and wearing all kind of its religious symbolism was on full display. So the Prime Minister has never shied away from accepting who he is and following all his faith and religious ritual beliefs and all. And that is exactly what we are witnessing right now at in Prayagraj during this Maha Kumbh ceremony which is undergoing.
And also, Brijesh, in a country like India where politics and religion often overlap, is what, we've also witnessed in the past. Is it even possible for a visit like this to be seen as purely personal?
Well, it is next to impossible. I mean, you can't say this. I mean, as I said, that it depends on which side of the fence you are. I mean, if you are a BJP supporter, you would say that yes, this is a pursuit of spirituality, a religiosity, which the Prime Minister is practicing as a devout Hindu. He is well within his rights to go and take holy dip at Sangam in Prayagraj. There's nothing wrong with it. But the fact is that you also cannot ignore the other side of the fence, which is that there are elections which are happening in the state of Delhi. There's an election which is happening in Ayodhya itself, where the consecration of Lord Ram temple took place last year, and there's an election in Baipol in Tamil Nadu. So I mean, what is happening in Prayagraj, and to say that it will have zero impact on the election votings or which is happening in Delhi, it'll be a bit naive to say that it will have no impact of whatsoever. Yeah.
Right, Brijesh. Also, do tell us, given your vast experience covering politics and, you've been at it for decades now, I'd say. How does this compare with past instances where political leaders have attended major religious events? Have they also been viewed as a political?
Well, it depends. If you are taking, say, for example, a holy dip tomorrow, or if you're taking a holy dip yesterday, or on the 9th, then there you cannot say for sure that that this will have any kind of impact on the voting pattern or the voters of a particular constituency in any which way. Because the coincidence right now is too much to ignore. That is what I was trying to say. That that PM taking a holy dip in Sangam, and the entire gig of the elections which are happening in the state in Delhi, also in Milkipur and all. I mean, that's too much of a coincidence to say that that it will have not any bearing for sure. I mean, of course, as a devout Hindu, as the Prime Minister is absolutely free and well within his right to go and practice his religion, to go and take a holy dip at Maha Kumbh in Prayagraj. I mean, there's no stopping that, or nobody can deny him nobody can deny him that. But yes, of course, when you do that, there'll also be talks about how these images which are beamed across the national channels and all will also have an impact on the mind of voters for sure. Yeah.
Right, Brijesh, and also, do tell us, how do you really see the Prime Minister's visit contributing to his largest political messaging, especially, when we speak about Hindutva and, let's say, nationalism?
Well, I would say that the Prime Minister has already been unofficially, of course, being anointed or hailed as a Hindu Hriday Samrat by a vast majority. And if you look at purely from the political play out, he's one of the most phenomenally popular leader after first Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, or I would say after late Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. Her political journey was cut short by assassination, but the kind of popularity she enjoyed and the first Prime Minister enjoyed. I mean, the only politician which comes to my mind who can not only rival or equal that kind of political popularity is Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Winning 2 elections back to back from a party which was always been within the vicinity of the flame of the power, but never actually getting to wear the crown with an absolute majority of its own. I mean, what Prime Minister brought for BJP from 2013 end and 2014 start, he is the catalyst. You may give 500 spiels or reasons as to this led to this, and how RSS was responsible for the complete ascension of BJP in power. But if you ask me, there's only one reason why the BJP got the absolute majority as far as the first 2 terms were concerned, and that catalyst was Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So for him, it's like his supporters know who he is, and that is the reason why the BJP or the Prime Minister won't be so overtly worried about the consolidation and all. But yes, it does reinforce the messaging in the mind of who Prime Minister Narendra Modi is and what his belief in as far as Sanatan Dharma is concerned. That imagery reinforces that message in every supporter of the Bharatiya Janata Party or the larger rubrics of the Sangha Parivar power play which we see in various forms. Yeah.
Right, Brijesh. Also, do quickly tell us, how has the opposition really reacted to Prime Minister Modi's visit to Kumbh on the day when there are elections happening?
Well, I think what has happened is, opposition is definitely saying that that this kind of these images beaming across while election is going on. I think, last time they even approached the election commission for that and saying that this should not have been allowed. But I think, until unless election commission takes a decision or the Supreme Court asks election commission to take a decision, there's nothing legally incorrect for the Prime Minister or anybody else to go and take a holiday. And as Ajit was mentioning, if politics is about motives and politics is about symbolism and politics is about messaging, there's nobody who's stopping the opposition parties also to exploit these situations to send these messaging or indulge in these symbolism. So I think, a certain level of criticism is also legit, but I think, the opposition also needs to up the game as far as sending messages across is concerned.
Also, the opposition may call this as an attempt to divert attention, and the opposition might argue that this is an attempt to sort of mix religion with politics. How do you see that playing out?
Well, I mean, the cocktail of religion and politics has been there since time immemorial. This is not the first time that is happening, and this is not the last time that will happen. So I don't see much merit in the claim which is being made by opposition parties. If you have not done it, and if somebody else is doing it, it doesn't make him wrong, or it makes you right. I think, it's a question of whether it is legal or illegal. And I think, you have got courts to decide that, you have got an Election Commission of India to decide that. And until unless these forums decide that, rest is all about, a theoretical comparison or a commentary on, what is right and what is wrong.